Alright y'all, it is 2025 and it has never been easier owning chickens. Today I'm going to share with you our method to winterize a coop, guys. Easy as pie, and I'm sure you're going to pick up some automization tips along the way. We've got this automated to a point where I don't even have to come out here but once a week to service these guys. We collect eggs usually every day or every other day, but listen, everything is automated. No bringing out buckets of warm water before work all winter every day, you know, to the chickens and the bunnies. Okay, I'm going to show you some products, some high-tech new products that are going to change your life owning chickens, or give you the motivation to go get into this hobby yourselves, because it is really rewarding. They're fun, and guys, morally it's the right thing to do. So guys, first of all, I am really excited about this. I just got it in the mail yesterday, so we're hooking it all up. But 1/4-inch drip is how we run the irrigation. So this is what we're dealing with, trying to bring out water daily, right? It'll get really dirty and nasty and low, and it's just a pain. Even if you're religious about it, which I got a lot of things on my plate and chickens are low on the list. So guys, just to have a irrigation system that runs regardless of user input is so important. You want to set the run up to where it can take a continuous slow drip of water and drain the water away from your run, so it's not a big muddy mess in here. I use the deep litter method and it's really not been a problem. I kind of got the area behind this water bucket sloped away from the coop back here, back along my back fence line, where it's not a problem for me. One of the big things about winterizing the coop in the winter is that you need to keep the water fresh and unfrozen, right? They need access to unfrozen fresh water all winter long, and that can be a pain depending on where you live, right? I live in South Carolina. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but listen, they make outlets that sense the temperature and will kick on at a certain temperature and kick off at a certain temperature. Great for energy saving, right? So they'll kick on around 40 degrees and kick off around 60. Same with this heated hose I just purchased. Basically, I'm hooking up the heated 25-foot hose, and then I'll run 1/4-inch drip after that, and I'll keep it on the continuous drip, and hopefully the heated hose will warm the water in the line fast enough to where it will not freeze in the 1/4-inch drip. I'm trying to keep the 1/4-inch drip line as short as possible, so I'm running straight point A to B. This heated hose says it's rated for -40 degrees frost protection, so me guesstimating that means I can get away with running this system with about 100 foot of 1/4-inch drip line that is unheated after this heated part of hose, and I'll get at least to 0 degrees and I still won't freeze. That's what I'm hoping on. Here in the Carolinas, it don't even get near 20 degrees, hardly, you know. So this will give me ease of mind to know that my bunnies and my chickens are getting fresh water every single morning without me having to come out here. You can expect to pay around 50 bucks for 15 to 25 feet of this heated hose. There's another route you could go for this too. If you already have an irrigation system for your chickens and you want to winterize it without rerunning hose, you can just get this heated tape and run it, spiral it around your hose. And you could even, in areas even north of here that freezing is a big issue, this might be the way to go. It's a little bit cheaper per foot. You can get a bigger run of it. You can then winterize your existing system without having to run a new hose every winter. Run the heated hose. You can just have this ran on your system. They also have temperature sensors built in, or you can use the temperature sensor outlet. And this might work well for, you could even use this to heat the drip line all the way up to the coop if you're having problems with freezing still. So on the 1/4-inch drip line for this, I think it's really good to have a flow control valve somewhere put in, just so you can adjust the speed of the drip so you're not going crazy gushing. And you can also open it and close it easily and let any sediment build out, or any ice chunks if that does happen. It just gives you a little way to kind of feel and troubleshoot if you run into any problems. Alright guys, and the other part of this, the other great part of this is when you are no longer in danger of freezing temperatures, you can just hook this 1/4-inch drip to any part of your irrigation. It'll run off half-inch brown drip tubing if you have that. They even have like sprinkler drip adapters, 1/4-inch drip line adapters, so you could hook this right up to your sprinkler system, and it kicks on in the morning for 15 minutes and gives them 15 minutes of fresh water every morning. And so this will really make your life easy indefinitely if you get something like this set up for your birds this winter. Alright guys, that was a hard one, so we're moving on. Listen, you got 1/4-inch drip ran out to the coop, you got it all set up. Alright guys, that was the hard part. You got 1/4-inch drip ran out to your coop, you got the water all set up, your birds are happy, they got fresh water. Now we're talking about coop coziness, okay? So I like to put in both the bunny hutch and the chicken coop. For the last 2 years I've had a little socket, light bulb socket outlet. You can get like the clamp on kind. You find those at thrift stores for like $2 a piece. They're in every thrift store across America. You can go crazy. I already had a ton for my plants and my light plant lights and stuff like that, grow lights, but one thing I do suggest if you're going to go that route, instead of hardwiring a socket in, is to definitely, dang, birds are pecking me. Definitely you're going to want to like have some screws or something holding the handle so that the birds can't knock it down. They do like to kick at stuff. So now that you got your socket in there, you're going to want to run some sort of a heat lamp. I've experimented with both kinds. I got like a actual lighted heat lamp from Tractor Supply that they ended up breaking, and broken glass all in there. I don't think they liked how bright it was in their coop because they're sleeping at night when it goes on primarily. So what I did was got one of these ceramic 2-pack heaters, and these lights have worked great for a year and a half. Got one in the coop, one in the hutch, and another little nice touch you can add to this is you can get a double socket splitter. So you put a double socket on that light socket in your coop, and you put a little accent light in there so that when the light is on, or so that when the heat is on, you have a little light as a visual cue to let you know from the house that your birds are nice and cozy out there in them cold winter nights. You know, it gives the wife peace of mind, it gives me peace of mind, and it lets me know if there's any problems with the system, right? I need to know if my birds are cold, especially if I'm going a week without checking this in these cold winters, right? So they got fresh water, they got fresh unfrozen water, they got their heat in there kicking on after like 50 degrees. And if you don't want to do the temperature sensor, or if you just have a daylight sensor laying around, that works great for this kind of equipment too, because it's usually cold when the sun goes down. So if you just want the stuff kicking on at night and getting them through those cold nights, and they can handle it during the day. These guys are out here in the coldest of days. Nothing stops them from being outside. So I just want to keep them cozy at night. So that's a great way to do it too. And those are timed. I would just do dusk to dawn. Another cool thing, now that you have your little socket wired up inside the coop, is that you can buy a socket screw-in light bulb fan deal. I've seen them on Amazon. They're a little pricey. You spend probably 20 to 30 bucks on one of these, but that way you can kick on a fan in the really hot summer days. And I also build the coop for ventilation, right? Ventilation, and I wanted it to be fun for the boys to look in. They got 2 big window panes on each side and a flip back roof. We got ease of access, right? The front window's on a hinge, so we can open that up. And we just roll with the deep bedding method. I just keep adding bedding. If there's anything real nasty in there, I'll clean it up. But at the end of the summer, all this bedding and all this stuff I'm putting down in the run, I'm going to be shoveling that up, cleaning it all up so at the end of spring, I'm going to be shoveling all this stuff that I've been deep littering here in the run, and I'm going to be adding it to the very bottom of all my raised beds as a compost layer to get the worms interested in digging up, right? So yeah, it all comes around, guys. So for the feed in the chicken coop and in the bunny hutch, we have these 4-inch gravity feeders, and these just work so great. You got to get some sort of a clear cloche or terrarium top or something like that over the top so that they are waterproofed, and I even put something over the bottom so that that mouth can't get water in it either. And just do a size tube that you think is appropriate for a 7 to 10 day feeding period. I would say 10 to 14 actually, because like if I come out here and feed them on a Thursday after work at the very beginning of the weekend, it might be Sunday at the very end of the weekend the next week. I need it to last at least 10 days if I'm planning on checking this once a weekend, right? One thing you can do to make a DIY for free funnel is you can just cut a traffic cone, right, to the exact size you need it with a razor blade, and boom, you got a big old funnel. You can just shovel food in there. We keep the food right next to the feeders, and that seems to really help. And at the bottom of the feeders, right at the bottom of this 4-inch feeder, you're gonna want a 90-degree elbow, and after that a 45, or the opposite, a 45 and then a 90. I used one of these rubber cusps on this feeder, and it's really helped me in a couple times where the thing did get wet at the beginning when I was troubleshooting, right? I was able to take it apart, and this fitting wasn't glued. I had the rubber cusp on it, so it's still waterproof, but I can take it apart in clear blocks. It's a long tube, and that can be a problem. If you glue the whole thing and it gets wet, it's like a brick inside there. It's like a brick that wants to expand, really. So in the bunny coop, I didn't use a 90 and a 45. I think I used like a 90 and then a gutter mouth opening, and that works just fine too. Just use what you got. You can even use downspouts for this. If you do use a downspout, right, they're easy to find on the side of the road. You need a couple A elbows or B elbows to make the curb, but you're going to want to layer everything up that you would a downspout, because you want water shedding off the outside, not funneling into the center of the downspout. You want your food to be kept dry at all costs. So even the feed area, like if you can put some walls up around it or something to keep rain from blowing in. And to cover the drafts on the coop, we built it for ventilation. To cover the drafts, we just used some old blankets and stapled them up. This process takes 5 minutes, and it keeps the coop a lot warmer. I do recommend keeping some sort of a temperature gauge or a thermometer in there so that you can see what's going on and see what these measures do to keep the internal temperature of the coop up. But yeah guys, if you enjoyed the video, please stick around, sub to the channel, and I will be making more. And definitely consider adding chickens to the homestead, because they're fun, they're easy, they're a lot of fun for the kids. Fresh eggs, you know, for breakfast every morning. And yeah, with the technology we got available to us, they are so easy to maintain. This is not your grandma's homestead, guys. Let's get out there and get growing.